This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast with Newcastle.
Why, man?
Why, man?
Do that again.
Why, man?
Sorry?
Why, man?
Why, man? Rate the two YI mans. Okay. Why, man? No, come on camera.
No. Why, man? Let's talk about this. Clarify this situation. So, when I was talking to Lewis Ritson yesterday, who doesn't look like Lewis Ritson, by the way, he kind of indicated that he would probably prefer to stay or swerve Josh Taylor and fight for a vacant title. And I said to him, but if the opportunity come across where you were fighting him as the mandatory, you would take it. And he said, yes, but if there was a way to kind of go around that.
Honest, isn't he?
Yes, very honest.
I just heard him in a Sky interview there say, listen, Josh Taylor is a tremendous fighter. Like, I've heard him actually say before, like when we were talking about Josh Taylor maybe a year and a half ago, he was saying, oh, wow, well, you want me to go and, take a pasting at St James's Park? I was like, mate, you could win the fight. But I think he honestly admits that he feels that Josh Taylor is operating at a superior level. Of course he is. I mean, everyone knows that. But it doesn't mean that he wouldn't take the shot against him for the undisputed. But I think a lot of people right now are looking at that division and saying the belts are going to become fragmented. You look at Jack Catterall, who's supposed to be fighting Josh Taylor next with a WBO mandatory. He's probably in the same position. I'm sure he wants to fight Josh Taylor for the undisputed, but he's also thinking to himself, well, if Josh moves up and fights Terence Crawford, I get a shot at a vacant belt, which might not be the end of the world because Josh Taylor's very, very good. So, I mean, it's great honesty from Lewis Ritson. I think I'm sure he'd like the payday that would come with a Josh Taylor fight, probably at St James's Park, but he also acknowledges that Josh has been operating at a high level. But Lewis Ritson here on Saturday has an opportunity to box himself at that kind of level, not at the levels of Josh Taylor, but a very good fighter in Jeremiah Ponce, undefeated. A lot of people talking very highly of him. This is a tough fight. This is a really good fight. And, we can talk about world titles if he's victorious on Saturday.
Let's run through the rest of the card. Let's talk about the two heavyweight fights. Obviously, Sol Dacre's fighting in his second professional fight. The return of the Savage against Damian Chambers, which is a very interesting fight.
Yeah, that's a really interesting fight because you've got two kind of, not light heavyweights, but lighter heavyweights. Two guys that, Damian Chambers has boxed at cruiserweight before. There is an argument that Alan Babbage is a cruiserweight. He talks about, wanting to box through those three divisions of cruiserweight and bridgerweight and heavyweight. Damian Chambers with Matthew Hatton took the opportunity at late notice. To be fair to Alan Babbage, this was supposed to be just a 6-round comeback fight after his shoulder operation. But we were sending Alan Babbage and the team just standard sort of heavyweights that you'd expect to fight over 6 rounds. And they kept turning them down because they said we wanted someone better. So big shout out to Damian Chambers, who can punch, who can move. Great trainer in Matthew Hatton. It's a massive chance for him. I think Savage against Chambers is going to be an interesting fight. And then if he gets through, big plans for him on Fight Camp to start taking those big tests now.
Rumours are circulating that there's a potential fight with Nick Webb there, should he come through this weekend.
I don't think that's going to be the case now because Nick Webb was supposed to fight on this card. And he made it clear he wanted to have a sort of interim fight before Alan Babbage. Unfortunately, we couldn't find an opponent that Nick Webb was happy with. To be fair to him, it was supposed to be more of a run-out fight, and he felt that the people we put forward weren't a run-out fight. So that fight might be delayed now, but Alan Babbage certainly will be in action in Fight Camp if he's victorious on Saturday. Solomon Dacres, out very quickly after a good performance last time. There's a guy that I think is going to move nice and quickly in the heavyweight division, domestically, particularly. This is his second fight. And I think once he gets through tonight and maybe one or two others, you're going to see him around English and British title sort of level within the next 12 months.
The return of Joseph Laws, who his first time out since his defeat to Ryland Charlton. So good to see Joe back.
Yeah, he is. Lovely kid. I felt for him when he got beat by Ryland Charlton. And I think at the time, people probably didn't realise that Ryland Charlton could really fight and was dangerous as well. I think Joe wasn't prepared fantastically well for that fight. He paid the price, and I think it's been tough for him, to be honest with you. And that's why I gave him another fight on this card, because I felt a bit for him. He loves to uplift people. He likes to fill people with energy, and when it goes wrong, he took a load of stick because people probably think he's a bit of a knob. We know that he's not a knob. He's actually a nice geezer, but they wanted to probably let him have it, that he got beat. And there's no place to hide, is there? You know, it's the most humiliating place to suffer a defeat in the ring in front of, you know, the whole world watching. So I'm pleased to see him back. He's got a tough fight actually on Saturday night, but hopefully he can come through it. Different kind of experience for these guys with crowds back. You know, you saw with Ritson, you saw with Josh Warrington. It's just not the same for those people that are used to this incredible, intense atmosphere. So hopefully Joe Laws can get a win. I'll come off with the others. April Hunter, back after a good win in Barcelona. She's got quite a tough fight as well. We've just found out that, unfortunately, Ellie Scotney's opponent has failed a COVID test. So we're trying to find her replacement, but looks like she could be moved, her fight on Saturday. Thomas Patrick Ward in a good fight against Eddie Mercado from Mexico, who's, you know, another Mexican fighter coming to look to cause an upset here. And of course, the professional debut of Cyrus Patterson, yet another GB talent that we've added to the books. Tremendous fighter. Been looking for his pro debut for a while now, but because of COVID, this is his pro debut coming up on Saturday, and a great spot for him to be fighting in front of fans in the North East. And
we're good. We're good. So yeah, tune in Sky Sports and Dazn around the rest of the world. So obviously, last time we spoke was about your huge announcement. The aftermath of that, what have you kind of learnt over the last few days regarding what you announced?
It's very positive. You know, obviously it was a big move for us, and you know, a big change, and it feels very exciting, very fresh. You know, obviously this is our last fight on Sky Sports. Quite sad in that respect. You know, we've got a great relationship with Sky and all the people around, and you know, all good things come to an end. And I feel like we've got a very, very exciting future ahead of us, very fresh. You know, and there's going to be major changes to what I feel will be the benefit of fighters, will be the benefit of fans, and particularly viewers as well around the world. So we've got another major announcement dropping tonight, and that doesn't affect the UK. But on Monday, we will be announcing the full lineup for Fight Camp.
It's the party you're having at Metro.
What you're saying is we're having a party on Monday. No, we're having a media event in the Garden on Monday.
It's a party.
It's not, to announce the full Fight Camp lineup, which I think is tremendous. Like I said, there's going to be an announcement tonight about something completely different. There's going to be the announcement on Monday, and then probably from Sunday, all of next week, we'll start announcing all the talent. Everyone has signed now, apart from I think one person who's just finalising the agreement. All of the talent are in place. Absolutely tremendous lineup of analysts and presenters and commentators, and it's exciting because we're getting the chance to build it from ground up. And you know, when I started with Sky, we had a massive mountain to climb, and you know, this is another challenge for us. But we have a tremendous deal. As I said to you in our meeting, you know, our interview rather, the opportunity was too big for our business, for our fighters, for the sport, just to do something completely game-changing. So one thing that I have noticed is the amount of phone calls and planning that I'm having to do. Normally, we just get on with it and we see you at the show. I've been on calls non-stop till midnight every day, planning, plotting, making fights, working on production, signing talent, signing, you know, the presentation team. Obviously now the announcement's coming out from starting today about new markets as well. So it's hectic, but it's fun, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
Mike Coppinger reported that Sky Sports are in talks or going to announce a deal with Top Rank. I'm sure you would have seen that. Could I have a reaction to that?
Yeah, good. I saw that. I've obviously heard, you know, not involved in the day-to-day discussions of Sky on the boxing side anymore, but I've heard they've, you know, done a deal with Top Rank to buy the US shows coming through in the early hours of the morning. I think it's great. You know, I'm really happy that they're staying in boxing. You know, they've got the best pay-per-view platform in boxing right now, and I think that's the way they're going to go, is to focus on that platform. I think they're going to do some stuff domestically as well, I hear. They've done the international deal, and I think international boxing is great. It's something that we were trying to push over the last few years. We had it with our Dazn shows, but then of course when Dazn launched in the UK, they sat on the UK service, and you know, sometimes it's difficult to get the numbers in the early hours of the morning, but also now with OTT and the ability to watch at different times, I think it's a good link up for them. And I'm pleased that they're going to stay in boxing, and it's great because it keeps everyone on their toes, it keeps all the other broadcasters competitive, and yeah, I think it's great for boxing.
Anthony Joshua, And Alexander Usyk, September.
You always say Usyk. I've noticed.
Usyk.
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 Yes. Not Usyk. Usyk.
Usyk, bro.
No. Just say Alexander Usyk. Go on.
Alexander Usyk.
There you go. Yeah. What about it?
Tottenham.
Yeah, I've seen
September.
loads of rumours and stuff like that. Definitely considering Spurs. Definitely considering September 28th, 25th. Yeah. Also considering September 18th. Also speaking to Wembley. Extremely positive with Alex CASSIUS. We alerted the WBO on, I can't remember, at the weekend that we have agreed terms, and now we are papering that agreement, of which we don't expect much turbulence, but we're hoping that, I guess at the weekend or early next week, we might be in a position to move forward with some kind of announcement. But all looking very good. Alex CASSIUS is a tremendous operator. We get on very well. Everybody just wants to do the fight, so there's no messing around. It's a tremendous fight. I don't anticipate many problems.
When you say terms have been agreed, so your offer you said that you sent the other day has been accepted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well done. You've been working in boxing how long?
Don't know. So obviously you're not swerving Usyk.
No. I mean, I've told you before, I think that AJ is a throwback fighter. All the challenges that he's been presented, he's never turned down one fight. And when you look at, since the Klitschko victory, he's always had to fight fighters that he's been told to fight, basically, or ones that he wants to fight. So when he beat Klitschko, we got a letter from the IBF, you've got to fight Pulev. He trained for Pulev for 10 weeks. A week before the fight, Pulev pulled out. He's got to fight Takam. Totally different style. He goes in, he fights him. Then he fights for the Unified Championship against Parker. Then he gets another letter. You've got to fight Povetkin. Okay, goes and fights Povetkin. Then he gets a voluntary. He was going to fight Jarrell Miller. 3 weeks to go. Chooses Andy Ruiz. Right? Not Tom Schwartz or anything like that, or Pianetta, or Seferi. He chooses Andy Ruiz. Maybe a mistake. Gets beat, comes back, defeats him, gets another letter. Now you've got to fight Pulev. Wants to fight Fury for the undisputed. Can't get that made, then you get another letter. You're going to fight Usyk. Give this man credit for his resume. A throwback fighter, great fighter. And the Usyk fight is a really tough fight. Really tough fight. This is a pound for pound. You look at the pound for pound list, Alexander Usyk's in there. Where's Anthony Joshua? So this is the kind of victory. Just if and when he beats Alexander Usyk, stick him in the pound for pound list. And this is the undisputed cruiserweight world champion. So great clash of styles. It's going to be a tricky fight.
I think it's crazy when people suggest that Joshua would swerve Usyk. It's mad, isn't it?
No, but you're in a position where you may have a huge money fight later in the year for the undisputed. May. How long have we been working off May in this whole undisputed situation? So I think AJ says, yes, it's a massive risk. Yes, I might lose the undisputed fight, but who cares about the undisputed fight? This is the challenge that's in front of me. And I'm going to go through Alexander Usyk. And, I'll go back, all those names we put on the list, Dillian Whyte before Klitschko and before Charles Martin and those guys. Charles Martin now all of a sudden coming back with good wins. He's back top 5 in the world. At the time, he was just a joke. AJ, I buttoned him and ironed him out. Look at the resume, going way, way back. And never has Anthony Joshua looked at an opponent and said, oh, no, stay away from him. He looks at Usyk and says, that's a pound for pound great fighter. I'm going to go for him.
What is the situation regarding Dillian Whyte?
Had a meeting with his team on Monday, looking at options, really. I mean, there's opportunities for him. I like to fight for him in the US. There's another couple of fights we're looking at as well. And I think you'll see him out in September.
So these fights are getting pushed kind of away from July and August into September.
Well, only
Dillian
because
Whyte.
we're in June now. There is a chance Dillian could fight at the end of August. Again, everybody wants to try and box twice this year. So for AJ, that kind of makes it a little bit difficult because obviously if he's September 25th or 18, you've got to have a quick win with no hiccups to get out again in December. For Dillian, he definitely wants to have 2 fights this year. So the first of those would look to be early September to give you the opportunity to fight in December as well.
Can you clarify the situation regarding John Ryder at the moment?
Yes. So very frustrating. So we had an agreement with Morrell to fight on June the 26th for the WBA regular title. We approved the money. It was done with Louis de Cubas and PBC. And then Tom Brown wrote a letter to the WBA to ask for an exception to take another fight on June 26th. To be fair, it's in the rules. You can do it. You can ask for an exception. The fact is that Morrell shouldn't have even been regular champion anyway. He was actually elevated from interim champion to regular champion after he didn't even make weight on the scales. Anyway, old scorer. They then made it a 75-25 per split, which was outrageous at the time. We've appealed the decision and appealed the exception. They've come back and they said, we will allow the exception to take place, but the new purse bid split is 60-40. We're appealing that decision, but the truth is, he probably will be allowed to fight on June the 26th, and we will have to fight him within 90 days. We are looking at other options for John Ryder. Charlie Sims is down there. We want the Dimitri Bivol fight. That is, I mean, you look at John now, you think he just wants his shot at the world title. He had a very close fight with Callum Smith, and now he's in a situation where he's supposed to be fighting for the regular title against a kid who's like 4-0, tremendous young Cuban fighter. John just went, no one wants to fight Morrell. He just put his hand up, said, absolutely, I'll take that fight. Now we want a bigger split on that fight so we can get that fight in the UK. If we can't get that fight, we want Dimitri Bivol. Now, I spoke to his team this morning. I think it's a tremendous fight. We know John's moving up a weight, but Bivol's shown that he could be beatable. And John just wants his shot. So that's a fight we're trying to make, but obviously have Morrell in the background as well. But now, as that split becomes more realistic, it gives us a chance at least to bring the fight to the UK.
I know you push for time, so okay.
Were you trying to get off something?
No, absolutely. I'm staying in Newcastle. Your reaction to Mayweather and Logan Paul, Edward?
Oh, Leonard Ellaby had a pop at me last night, didn't he? I think. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
I said that. All I said was this. I mean, one, it was absolutely fucking horrendous. Horrendous. Firstly, no one turned up. Right? Did you see how few people there? I mean, it was in the Hard Rock Stadium.
It was raining as well, though, wasn't it?
Doesn't matter if it was raining. No one bought a ticket. Right? They said it done 1 million buys in the US. I guess it might have because Mayweather is huge. Certainly didn't do that well in the UK. But it's like, what I said was, if you were a new fan or a casual fan, you watched that fight and thought, what, this guy is one of the greatest fighters of all time. It was just sad. It was sad. None of it ever made sense. But I get the fact, and I don't blame Floyd Mayweather. He made an absolute fortune for an easy night's work. I would have probably done the same. So I don't blame anyone for doing it. I'm allowed to give my opinion. It was absolute dog shit. And Leonard Ellaby said, oh, we don't care about Eddie Hearn's opinion. Oh, fuck off, mate, seriously. There's plenty I want to say, but I won't say it. But other than, Leonard Ellaby is a boxing man. He knows deep down that was absolutely horrendous. And the other thing is as well, when you've got a guy in the environment that we live in at the moment, right, after a tough year for a lot of people, to come out at the press conference and just basically laugh at people and say, I just took your money. It was a bank job. It was a heist. It was like I conned you into... I mean, those pay-per-views in America, I think they were like $60. I mean, he basically just took the piss out of the fans. But I don't blame him. He made an absolute fortune. Good luck to him. I'm not having a go at Floyd Mayweather. I'm just a fan who's allowed to give my opinion. Absolutely dreadful. Even Floyd Mayweather was embarrassed at a press conference after. He basically said, I'm not doing that again. The biggest winner was Logan Paul. I mean, he's just gone 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. And actually, at times...
Did you think he got knocked out and held up?
No, I think at times Floyd Mayweather was actually really trying. But anyway, it was what it was. But it all comes back to the pressure is on us. Not us as in me and Matchroom, but it is on boxing. If we don't make good fights, you're going to see more and more of this. Because if Gervonta Davis against Mara Barros is doing 100,000 buys, and Andy Ruiz against Areola is doing 80,000 buys or 100,000 buys, and you've got that doing 1 million, what are the broadcasters going to want? That. We have to save boxing. We, not just me, all of us. And the fighters have got to step up, the managers have got to step up, the trainers have got to step up. We've got to pay the money for these guys to have real fights. And that's what you'll see at Fight Camp. You will see people getting paid extremely well to take proper fights. So no more shit fights for great money. If you believe you can win, if you're a great fighter, let's make great fights that the fans are going to like, that are going to drive viewer numbers, that are going to keep our customers happy, which is the broadcasters and the fans. Otherwise, you're going to see more of that dross all the time.
Would Dazn have declined that the other day?
I don't know. It's a question for Dazn. I mean, I wouldn't have put that forward. I'm not saying I'll never do another YouTube fight. Listen, KSI against Logan Paul, neither of them can fight. They went in there in a 50-50 and tried to knock each other out. It was quite entertaining. Not one of the greatest fighters of all time against a 0-1 YouTuber. No, I don't even mind Logan Paul against...
Jake Paul, you're on about?
The new one, what is it? Woodley.
Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, no problem with that. I don't mind. Jake Paul can fight a bit. Tyron Woodley can't really fight, but was a great MMA fighter. It's quite intriguing. No problem. It's just that other one was just, it was what it was. It was a bank job. But you can't take the mickey out of the public. Like, at least do it subtly. You know? But it was what it was. What did you think about it? You're just going to sit on the fence?
No, sit on the fence. It is what it is, but it's just interesting to hear your views when you're not promoting. What can you really say about it? You're right. It's a YouTuber fighting of our generation, the best.
What do you think?
Well, I'm not going to slam it like you did because
Why? Because you got no answer.
No, because it's not a fight, is it? It's an exhibition. People, like you said.
What did you think of it?
As a spectacle,
yeah.
I thought it was half entertaining, to be honest.
Oh, yes.
You're telling me, right? Have you watched the whole thing?
No, but I've watched a lot of it.
Right, well, it was. I'm not saying it was entertaining in a oh wow. I'm saying it was just. I found it quite entertaining.
I don't knock it. People made money. Congratulations. It is a business. Boxing's dangerous. Floyd deserves his touches. I'm just saying that as a boxing rights holder, we have to be very careful that we don't let that become the norm. Get it?
I get it, but also you played a part in this.
I put two YouTubers.
Yes, correct.
Really
but
50-50
yes,
fight.
but the whole YouTube thing kind of.
I don't mind it. I don't like in a certain capacity. I've just said to you, Jake Paul against Tyron Woodley, no problem with that. Not Floyd Mayweather against a 0-1 YouTuber. What's the point? There wasn't even a decision at the end of it.
But we know all this before we're watching it, didn't we?
You shouldn't have watched it in the first place, but you did because you're a tart.
I just watch boxing.
Well, why'd you watch that?
It's so funny to hear you talk about stuff when you're not promoting it.
But it's not, because I'm just telling you about other stuff that I'm not promoting that I think it's quite intriguing. You want me to be honest, I'm giving you my honest opinion. That was horrendous. Jake Paul against Ben Askren, don't mind it. Jake Paul against Tyron Woodley, don't mind it. Jake Paul against Tommy Fury, don't mind it. As long as it's half intriguing, half competitive. As long as it's sport. It's not sport when you do 8 rounds and you don't even get a decision. Anyway, good luck to you.
Anyway,
They raided the bank.
From that to Canelo.
Yes.
Caleb Plant, what's the situation regarding that at the moment?
Spoke to Canelo last night. That's just what I always say.
Did you actually speak to him or not?
Yeah, he's playing golf actually. He's in a PGA Pro-Am.
Do you voice note Canelo?
Yeah.
Can you play us a Canelo voice note? Does he talk to you like properly in English? Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, "Get the fuck out of here, man." We are looking forward to moving forward with that fight. We will be, as I said recently, making an offer to PBC and Caleb Plant. We expect a reciprocal one back. I spoke to Eddie Reynoso as well. And yeah, I mean, hopefully full steam ahead with that fight. We've got a big announcement tonight, not regarding that fight, but involved with those partners as well. So everything's good. And I think next week we start moving forward with that.
Have you seen Billy Joe Saunders' comments on TalkSport today?
Was it about Chris Eubank or just?
Well, it's just about him contemplating retirement. He's going to kind of assess his options, etc.
I spoke to him this morning, and he's going to come in. We're going to have a chat. I'd love to see him fight again, but obviously it's down to how he feels physically, what he wants from his career. I feel like he's a tremendous fighter. He has a big future. So we'll have a chat next week or the week after and see what he wants to do.
So after this weekend, obviously all eyes on Monday for you.
Monday, yes.
So you're announcing the whole fight camp schedule.
Yeah, I mean we have about 3 or 4 opponents to fill that we're finalising at the moment, but the plan is to try and announce every single fight over the 3-week period on Monday, and then we also have a new show which will be announced tonight, June 26th, as well. Not in the UK. Not in the UK.
Okay. Final one, Fury Wilder 3 expected to be announced formally next weekend. Next week, Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not long. I mean, I think it's 6 weeks to go this Saturday. So cutting it very fine. Good, yeah, another good fight for the division. I mean, listen, Wilder against Fury and Usyk against AJ, 2 top fights, just not the fights we all hope for, but at least you're not getting marking time fights. You're getting genuine heavyweight fights. So I guess that's something positive.
Okay. Have you got anything else you'd like to say before we finish?
No, just enjoy the show on Saturday. Get ready for a big announcement on Monday. So much I want to tell you. Just, we are building the ultimate destination for fight fans. And, I mean, you never know, you might get a job.
I don't think I could work for Matchroom.
Really?
You're
not comfortable that you've got the levels, or more of you don't want to mix friendship with?
I just like doing my own thing, really.
Do you?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't like you to be my boss, you know. Like.
No, but it's not like that. We're a team. So, although you would know subconsciously that you're working for me, I would never make you feel like that. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't walk past you in the office and say, stop coughing, or put that Hamlet out, or something like that. I would just say, Koo, what's your ideas? Well, where should we be looking to improve? What should we be looking to add to the production? How can we take this further? So I feel like,
You do know you offered me a job once, didn't you?
Not really.
Yes, you did.
Doing what?
I don't know. It was after Kell Book and who did he fight at Hillsborough Leisure Centre? Raphael Jakowitz.
Oh, yeah, no, the stewarding was poor that night, and I thought you'd be a good addition.
No, me and you had a conversation outside the arena, and you offered me a job.
Doing what? Security?
You offered me a job.
Doing this?
Before any person who worked for you.
I had a good eye for talent, didn't I? Because look what you went on to achieve.
So glad I declined. Not really. Eddie, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV as always.
I haven't forgotten that comment either.
What?
What you just said.
What, I'm so glad I declined? Well, yeah, because you would be my boss for like 10 years. I'd probably be a nervous wreck by now.
You could have also been on a yacht with Floyd on a heist.
No, but you did offer me a job, seriously, yeah.
Okay. Well, we all have bad days.
Thanks for that. Thank you very much, Eddie Hearn.